Coming up next, we have Scott Schulte. Scott comes to us as a former restaurant owner operator who's looking forward to the career change into the tech world. He has developed a restaurant-themed application for us called Dining Data. And Scott, the floor is all yours.
All right. I think I have, is everybody, can you hear me right now? All right, perfect. All right, we'll start out. Welcome everybody to my solo project presentation for Dining Data. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to come watch our presentations. Again, my name is Scott Schulte. I came to Emerging Digital Academy for a change of career from owning and operating restaurants. My prior work experience led me to my solo project idea of Dining Data. When choosing my solo project, it was common sense to develop something I am familiar with and have a great knowledge of. Right. My application is currently a beer and wine list management application that is mobile or tablet friendly for ease of use in a fast-paced industry. It's ideal for concepts with large beer and wine offerings. The main problem for me was, from prior experience, was having a central and accessible location for authorized staff members to help manage the beer and wine list for any concept I was involved with. That can rotate quite a bit, especially with beers on tap. I found this falling only on me since I had the only access to our more information-sensitive back-of-house computer at the restaurant. My solution here was to create an application that will allow logged-in staff to view, add, edit, and delete beer, wine, and vendor lists. There's also a feature that allows users a more temporary solution to mark an item out of stock if it's just a temporary stock issue. This application is meant for only use by the restaurant staff, but in the future, it definitely could connect to a live menu board displayed in a restaurant, bar, or brewery, or update a web-based menu in those concepts that would be accessible to guests via QR code. So presentation of our application here. We're going to start out. This is where a new register would user with a name, or a new user would register with the name, username, and password. I also have an About Me page that's viewable by anybody. We're going to actually just start here by logging into my own personal account. And we'll get to our home page here. It is pretty similar across the main categories here of beer, wine, and vendors. The user, let's see here. We're going to click into our beer menu first, I guess, and just take a look here. We have our beers organized by style, and each style is selectable by touching anywhere on that menu there. So I'll click into our light beers here. This brings you to a list of each beer in that style with beer name and brewery listed. Our top header has pertinent links for each page, so you can go back or you can click in and actually add a new beer to the database. So you can enter in all your information for a new beer, along with drop downs for our selected styles and our vendors in our database. You can then save that there, or you can cancel and come back out to our main beer styles page. If you look at the search here, this search will allow you to search in any beer by name or brewery in the whole catalog of beers. If you click into a specific one, that one actually will only search for a specific beer in this category. So we're going to go into our beer details here and show us our image and then all the information that you would actually add about it. You can also edit said beers here, which will bring you to an edit page, which breaks down all and pre-populates all the information that's already in the database for you. You can also save, cancel, or you can also delete the beer from your database, which will pop up with a modal here, which will allow you to either close or confirm and delete that beer. We're going to change our ABV. It's actually 3.3%, and we're going to save. In that edit screen, it also allows you to mark a beer out of stock here. So we're going to actually say, oh, we are in the middle of our dinner rush and we sold our last Corona Premier. We're going to mark that beer out of stock and go back into our light and domestics here and notice that is gone. On all of our pages in the beer subcategory, you can view out of stock beers. We'll click in here and notice that Corona Premier is out of stock. So we're going to mark that back in stock because we got our delivery. And that'll bring you back here. Our wines are very similar, except for they're going to be sorted by varietals. So you can click into any of the varietals and see specific wines that you have. Here you can also search by wine name, winery, or region. So we'll click into the Cabernets and jump into Bonanza here. You'll see the image as well as the mark out of stock option. I did as well make this a little bit more friendly to be on a desktop, but it is generally designed to be a mobile friendly or mobile first app. Since you will be kind of walking around the restaurant, you can quick grab your phone and make any changes needed. Vendors, this is a quick list of our vendors. The one nice thing about the vendors for any of our staff is that you can have the confirmation, or I mean the contact info for them with phone number, email. You can also edit that. We'll go back. And that is the main rundown of the application. Let's see here. I did have a quick list of technologies that we did use in our in the application. Main challenges for me was building the database. There was a lot of wine and beer and images to get put in there. I did look for an API to import data, but unfortunately, most of them either cost money or they weren't offering keys at this time. Also, styling a mobile-friendly application was a little bit challenging, although it wasn't as bad as I thought. Some future goals would be to find an API to import, or else as well add cocktail and food recipes. There's a lot of growth allowed for this application. And also maybe in the future, finding an interface with an actual restaurant point of sale software like Aloha or Micros would be kind of cool to use real-time data. If something's sold and you run out of it, then it just automatically updates the application. So here is my contact info for anyone interested. I have a wealth of knowledge in leading and managing people for my many years of operating restaurants, and I'm very excited for my future in software development. I have enjoyed coming to class each day and have been excited to learn about full stack software development. Thank you for listening to my solo project demonstration and pitch.
Awesome, Scott. Nice work. You covered challenges, and next up, you hit the marks there. So good job. For the sake of brevity, we'll do a couple questions here, and then how about the first one would be, I know during your scoping process, you had a couple pivots and discovery, which is important because it helps, inform your final projects. Could you talk a little bit about the process itself and finalizing scope and figuring out, how to reach deep and determine what it is that you're going to work on?
Yeah, so initially I was thinking that I was I could do basically accounting software. My original idea, I had everything pretty much almost laid out, and then kind of talked to Blaine, realized that I'm not that math smart, and we would also need a lot of extra data, like beginning data, we'd need transactional data, and like a final data for me to actually come up with inventory reports as to what we would be missing potentially each month. So basically I had to take, after working on it almost all week, the scope, I had to pivot and redo my whole scope document over the first weekend to be able to start working on the project come the first Monday morning.
Yeah, nice job. That's great. And you pulled it off. And then Kara asks, this will be the last question here. What are you most proud of?
I think, just doing something from start to finish by myself. I kind of enjoyed doing that. It makes it a little bit easier because you know where you're at any given day. The database kind of was the toughest thing for me, making sure that I had things named. I learned that in the future to name my table column categories much simpler. I went a little bit too in depth, more than I needed, and so that's something that I definitely learned for the future.
Awesome. Great job, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you.